I will never be able to forget a conversation that I've had with somebody on an aeroplane on my way to the United States of America. I think we took off from Holland or the UK somewhere. We were on this flight to New York. I think it was Newark where we would land. And I was speaking to somebody next to me, just, a little bit about different things. And I also mentioned God. We're talking a little bit about God, but I didn't really preach to him. He was still comfortable and all those kind of things. And I could see that this man doesn't really believe in God and that he is kind of afraid to speak to me about things about God. He feels out of his comfort zone. And as we were coming into land in Newark Airport, they said everybody should switch their phones off and so forth. And I switched my phone off, and his phone's battery already died during the flight. He was playing some video game or something, and the battery's already died. So as we come into the landing, there is a phone started to ring, and it sounded as if it was his phone right under his seat, right with him. It was his phone. And I said to him, man, your phone is ringing. And he said to him, it's not. He said to me, it's not my phone. I said, man, I'm sure it's your phone. And he said, man, it's not my phone. My phone's battery already died. And then I said, oh yeah, I remember. I said, but I think it's your phone. It might be God calling you. And he said, then I'm never picking up. And there was such a fear in the guy's heart because he acquainted God with punishment and fear. And so many times we have the same, because we read scriptures in the Bible that says we should fear God. We should be afraid of God. When we think of Judgment Day, we don't want to see God. We would want Jesus to appear, and then we would want to find ourselves in heaven. Maybe we don't want to see him, because if we see him, around him, he's got all knowledge about everything that I've done, and he might just want to punish me or have a video of the bad things that I've done. Now, have you ever thought of it? If 15 billion people has lived on the planet, I've heard another man say this yesterday, if 50 billion people lives on the planet and everybody's video of everything that is ever done must be played and we must watch it, how many years has there been? Let's say the average person became 40 years old on average, and there's been 50 billion. And their lives must be seen on a screen, and we must watch everyone's life. Okay, now we've got this person, and we watch. It just doesn't make sense. So many times we've got fear of God, and we're not supposed to have fear. I want to read a passage from Matthew chapter 4 and Deuteronomy 16. Matthew 4:8 says the following. And this is now Jesus being tempted of the devil. Again, the devil take him unto an exceeding high mountain, and showed him the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them. And he said unto them, all these things will I give you, if you will fall down and worship me. Then said Jesus unto him, Get thee hence, Satan, for it's written, You shall worship the Lord your God, and him alone shall you serve. Then the devil left him, and behold, angels came and ministered to him. Now that word, if you look at verse 9 there, you will see in verse 9 it says that, let's just read verse 9 there. And Jesus said unto him, all these things will I give you, if you will fall down and worship me. Jesus then answered, verse 10, the key verse there. Listen to this, and while it's on the screen, you're going to look at Deuteronomy 6. It says, Then said Jesus unto them, Get hence, Satan, for it is written, You shall worship the Lord your God, and him alone will you serve. Now, Jesus was quoting from Deuteronomy 13, but look at how Jesus changed the words. He says, You shall fear the Lord your God, and serve him, and shall swear by his name. You shall not go after other gods. So we see that Jesus in verse 10 says, You shall worship the Lord your God. But he quotes Deuteronomy, which says, You shall fear the Lord your God. Now, Jesus just changes the the word there. He quotes Deuteronomy 6:14, and he does not say, you shall fear the Lord your God. He says, you shall worship the Lord your God. So I want to say to you that the Old Testament words of fear is interpreted by Jesus as worship or having reverence. There's a difference between being afraid of God and having reverence for God. When Jesus appeared to his disciples just after his resurrection, and he knows that they did not want to believe, the woman or the men on the way to Emmaus, that he was raised from the dead. They did not want to believe what he said, that he was raised from the dead, when he told them that on the third day I'm going to be raised. He knew their sin. He knew their unbelief. He appeared unto them, and the first words he spoke to them is, peace unto you. When he appeared to John on the Isle of Patmos in a vision, and John fell down like dead when he saw the glory of Jesus, the first words he said is, fear not. The angels even said, fear not. Whenever God appears, he says, fear not. Don't be afraid. So I want to tell you that fear towards God is simply reverence for the way wherein he has loved us and lavished his love and his goodness on us. He's come to give us his peace. He's come to give us his strength. He's come to encourage us with his goodness towards us all the time. Let us not be afraid of God. Let us not have reverence or worship for those who can kill the body, but that can never give eternal life to the soul. Let us rather have reverence to the one that can, in whose presence life and death is determined. Governments doesn't have the authority to give you eternal life. Let us rather have reverence for that and the one that can give us eternal life, in whose hands it is to give us the quality of life that's possessed by God. I just read the verse again in Deuteronomy and Matthew 4. Matthew 4:10. Then Jesus said unto him, get thee hence, Satan, for it's written, you shall worship the Lord your God, and him alone shall you serve. Deuteronomy 6:13, you shall fear the Lord your God and serve him and swear by his name. You shall not go after other gods, of the gods of the people which are round about you. Isn't that powerful to know that fear is not being scared, but simply just honoring him loving you? Know that you are deeply loved by God and cared for. He loves you, smiles over you, and brings forth his fullness to you. And the reason why he does that is simply for one reason. He loves you. He always wanted you. Enjoy this weekend. Know you are blessed of God.